Welcome to Blood, Guts, and Booze.
I'm Olivia.
And I'm Kendrah. And this is a comedy podcast here to frighten you and make you question the world that we live in. So sit back with your favorite snacks and let's dive into this. Listener discretion is advised, as these podcasts are not for the faint of heart, nor are they PG. Hey guys, welcome back to another week of Blood, Guts, and Booze. So this week we have something very, very special.
Oh yeah.
So this week, in honor of the fact that we were on HorrorVSReality not long ago, we have Anastasia, who is one of the co-hosts from that podcast. Say hi.
Hi, I'm also the creator.
Yeah.
So how about you tell us a little bit about your podcast before we start?
Sure. Okay, so my podcast I host with my friend Morgan. We were college roommates for only like a month, but the friendship has lasted the test of time. We talk about a horror movie that is based on a true crime, and that true crime that inspired the horror movie. Every 2 weeks, so like 2 a month.
Excellent.
Bi-weekly, I like it.
Yeah. It's not always like perfectly bi-weekly, we just go with the flow. But yeah, so we talk about horror movies and horrific crimes, and it's a good time.
Excellent. I mean, we enjoy what you talk about, so, and we had a lot of fun being on your podcast.
We loved having you.
Yeah. Yeah, and if any of our listeners want to check it out, it's HorrorVSReality, and we did The Strangers.
Yes.
Yes.
And can all of our listeners find you on the same streaming services as us?
I assume so. You can find me on pretty much everyone that exists.
Perfect.
So almost like us, because we don't have iTunes. It's the one we don't have.
We don't have Apple iTunes.
Oh, you're not on Apple? You're not on iTunes?
It's the one we're not on yet.
Okay, well, I am. You can find me on iTunes and Deezer and like a bunch of crazy places. You can pretty much find our podcast everywhere.
Oh, that's awesome. I listen to you guys on Spotify.
I listen to us on Spotify too, but also Stitcher sometimes because I've been using that app for like 8 years and I just feel loyal to it. I only switched to Spotify because of last podcast on the left, because they went Spotify exclusive.
That's fair.
They're also very good, so I get it.
Yeah, like I had to. Like I can't go without my Henry and Marcus and Ben. I need them in my life twice weekly.
Yeah, that's like me with the Wine and Crime podcast. They're really great. They do true crime. It's fun. I'm actually sitting in their sweater right now. That's just really funny. I wasn't even thinking about that. Just threw a sweater on today because it's super comfy. But they sometimes Spotify gets really iffy with their episode releases, so I had to revert to Google Podcast for things, and they actually have a lot of podcasts on there, and it's free. So
I'm that one weirdo who listens on Podbean only. So
there's a lot of like our analytics don't even pick up Podbean, I don't think.
Yeah. Anyways, so let's dive into this. Anastasia picked my case for me today. I'm gonna go first. And when she first told me about it, I actually had no idea what she was talking about. So I was extra intrigued. Extra.
Those are always the best ones when you don't know anything about it.
Yeah, I don't know every crime. Surprise, guys. But I like to think that I know enough of them that I thoroughly enjoy it when I can still be surprised and learn something different.
Well, my fans will know that I'm obsessed specifically with Australian true crime for some reason. So I know some real deep dives in Australian true crime. That's
I have family there.
Well, I know
Vacation.
that we have
Girls trip.
I know that we have a couple Australian listeners, so I think that they'll be happy that this week we're traveling somewhere that we haven't been before, which is Australia.
Down under.
Excellent.
And I will be covering the body in the sports bag murderer, William Matheson.
Yeah.
So first off, this has been by far my hardest case to do research for, especially because there is an actor with the same name. So
Oh, that's true. I'm sorry.
Please, girl, if I missed something, just let me know. And we are 100% okay with you jumping in and interrupting at any moment's time.
Cool. Okay.
We interrupt each other all the time, so it's perfectly okay.
With our tidbits that we like to shoot out at each other, which are fun facts.
I mean, you guys heard mine and Morgan's dynamic. We're the same way.
Yes. Yes. So I figured you'd be okay with it. We're very
Absolutely.
sad that Morgan couldn't join us, but next time we will definitely have her as well.
Yeah, she sends her regards.
That's okay.
We understand completely, though.
We love you, Morgan.
Yay. Okay.
Okay. I'm going to dive in now. So, in the summer of 2001, 16-year-old Lindsay Van Blanken was at her mother's wedding when she noticed the talented cellist, William Matheson. During a break, he approached her and they hit it right off. They had a lot of fun together, but William was very possessive. Lindsay was a talented artist. In 2003, she was selected to join Walt Disney Animation as a trainee cartoonist. It was her dream job. I mean, how could working for Disney not be a dream? But, you know.
I don't know. I've heard some horror stories. Wink, wink.
Well, I mean, we all know how Disney obsessed I am. So, anywho, Lindsay liked to play video games. While playing, she met a friend named Brandon Leonard, who was a 21-year-old hairdresser living in Seattle. Their relationship started off purely platonic, but soon they realized that they fell in love.
Oh.
We always love when there's a love story. So Lindsay ended her relationship with William, who did not want to accept it, and he became obsessive. He began showing up at her workplace and her home. Lindsay was obviously uncomfortable and asked him to leave her alone.
If no one can, or if I can't have you, no one can.
Fair. Yeah. Leave me alone. So in July, Brandon mailed Lindsay an engagement ring, and she happily said yes. Yay, love!
Okay.
mailed her a ring.
I will say
Sorry.
this because I don't know the answer because in any interview I've seen and articles I've read, they never answer this. But I don't know if he sent her a voice chat or a IM and was like, "Will you marry me?" Or did he just send the ring and a letter that said, "Will you marry me?" I want to know exactly how it happened.
As far as the research that I had found is that he just mailed a ring. There was never mention of a letter or anything else. Just, here's a ring. And she was just supposed to assume that that's what it was.
Yes.
Hey girl, have you opened your mailbox yet?
Yeah, there was some fucking ring in here. Oh, boy. So in September, Brandon flew to Sydney and they got an apartment together. Then on the evening of November 24th, 2003, Lindsay left work at 5:30 p.m. She was excited because her mother had given her 2 round tickets to Seattle for Brandon to introduce her to his parents. She texted Brandon saying how much she was looking forward to their trip and was expected to be home within an hour.
Reasonable.
Yeah. So when Lindsay didn't arrive home at her normal time, Brandon became worried. Then so did her mother and eventually other family members. It was very, very unusual of Lindsay. She was always very reliable. She would send a text if she was going to be late. You know, she was a very reliable person. So then after a couple of hours, they contacted police to report her missing. Police dismissed it at first, as a teenage runaway because she, was technically 18 at the time.
And didn't send a BBM, BlackBerry Messenger.
Oh, God.
I mean, it's 2003, right?
I forgot about
MSN was around, MySpace.
Weird fact, my text message is the MSN sound.
I need it.
Yeah, every time that someone new I'm near and they hear it, they're like, is that the MSN sound? Yes, it is.
Mine sounds like a coin that's flipped over.
Yes, I know that one.
Mine's super annoying. It's like, bloop.
Yeah, I heard it earlier and it was like on full blast in my ear while you were standing next to me.
I'm sorry.
Because you're a dick.
I just can't hear. I work in a factory.
That's fair. That's fair.
So Lindsay's mother actually even considered that Lindsay may have just needed some space from all the stress between William and planning the wedding and the trip and everything else, which is, like kind of understandable. Sometimes
you tell someone something.
Yeah, but they kind of chalked it up at first as, being like, hey, maybe she just needed, some alone time.
She's 18. That's stressful getting married and having a stalker at the same time.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. I wouldn't dream of doing that at 18.
No.
No. Anyway.
So police questioned William after Lindsay's disappearance. He admitted to meeting with her during her lunch break that day, and then again around 6 p.m. when she got off the train to walk home. He told police that he walked with her for a bit and then left her near her home and had not seen her since. All right, cool, fair. So after several days, her family and police began suspecting foul play. On December 3rd, police reenacted Lindsay's last movements, hoping to get some answers. Police were baffled and had zero leads. Lindsay's bank account and cell phone had both been untouched since her disappearance. So clearly she didn't just fuck off somewhere. 2 weeks after, So 2 weeks after her disappearance, police spotted William, here's a fun fact, quote, lurking suspiciously on a quiet street. In his backpack, they found an axe, a large pair of scissors, a Stanley knife, surgical gloves, torches, a candle with a holder, cling wrap, deodorizer, or for Canadians, deodorant, and a bottle of holy water.
Oh, whoa. The holy water. Shit's real.
It's okay, though. He claimed he was just having a picnic at the park.
Fighting demons in the park.
Hold
Vampire.
on,
Yes.
How do we know that it's holy water? He could have just put it in from the tap.
Could have been vodka.
Yeah, it could just be a bottle that says holy water on it.
I'm betting maybe he blessed it. He seems like the kind of guy who would have been like all emo in his room, privately blessing the water.
I'm an emo. Non-conforming as could be.
Yeah,
non-conforming too if
such
you
a
just
good
dress
song.
like me. I don't know if you know that song in America.
I don't.
The emo kid song. There's also by the same people, the gangster song. It's by Adam and Andrew.
I'm a straight up G. They're actually by two different people.
Yeah, they're.
I will.
Privy
We'll send you the YouTube.
Yeah, we'll
link
send you
after.
the YouTubes after.
Excellent. Okay.
You'll hate us. But then you'll get the reference.
Fair enough. All right.
So, and I know how much you like that.
I do like being in on the joke.
Yes.
Yes.
We do a lot of singing songs on our podcast that we probably shouldn't.
I was going to say, we purposely don't sing more than like a line because we don't.
Yeah, I was like, as long as you don't sing too much, you're good.
Yeah.
You're good.
So, although
Unless
all
it's
of
Beatles, never sing any Beatles.
Yeah.
oh, they're my favorite band ever.
It's a good way to have to pay a lot of money to them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Probably.
At least you get to meet them. Maybe.
The ones that aren't dead.
Yeah.
Don't worry, though.
We've only got
Justin-
Paul and Ringo now.
Yeah, don't worry, though. Justin Bieber made Paul famous. Remember that?
Oh, like Post Malone made Ozzy Osbourne famous.
Yeah. They were helping struggling artists that hadn't been famous before. I hate this generation.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
Oh, well, okay. Sidebar a little bit here. There was like a music awards thing that happened, and Justin Bieber performed with Paul McCartney at it. And Twitter basically blew up and being like, oh my God, Justin Bieber made this guy Paul McCarthy so famous. Gave this old man a chance to finally sing and live his dreams. And I was just like, what the fuck? Why?
Oh, wait. So they were being unironic. They were being completely serious. Like
No,
some oblivious Gen
Yes.
Z person.
Yes.
1000%.
Yes. And it hurt my heart.
Yeah, that is disheartening.
And then I want to say it was either like 2 years ago, maybe 3, but the same thing basically happened when Post Malone sang with Ozzy Osbourne.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, I sort of remember that happening,
Yeah.
but
Their
like,
songs are actually pretty good.
well, guys, you need to know that I am an 80-year-old metalhead on the inside.
Oh,
And,
okay.
Male metalhead on the inside. You should.
Then the Ozzy Osbourne should hurt you because of
Well-
Black Sabbath.
Well, that's not hard enough, honestly. I'm more of a thrash or death metal kind of gal. But
Yes.
absolutely. But I live in my own little weird hole of things that I'm obsessed with. So like, I just don't really. And I know what you're thinking, but Anna, you're an entertainment journalist. This is true, but I don't. I write about obscure horror movies for the most part. I know who Justin Bieber is, but like I live under my specific rock, if you get what I'm saying.
Yes. Also, since you're an American, we apologize for the fact that he is there now as Canadians.
But please don't send him back.
It's okay. Florida has taken him in as one of them.
Oh, well, I mean,
Fits
that makes
right
sense.
in.
there was recently a thing on, me and Ron are watching Criminal Minds, and the one quote, it was like, how bad is it? And then JJ goes, Florida. So that's all that popped into my head.
Well, if you're not in on the joke that Florida is like the like ball sack of America,
Yeah.
it is. There's just trash there. And I say that lovingly as someone who has family members there. And then like Jersey's like the armpit of America.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Jersey.
So
Coffee.
Excellent.
yeah.
Excellent.
Well, we love you, Florida and Jersey. But I'm American, and so it's okay. I can make fun of Americans.
I want to go to Disney World.
I've never been. And one of my friends is there like right now with her
Oh,
kids.
super jealous.
Okay,
I'm
guys.
not really
Okay.
jealous. Because screaming kids, and parts of the park definitely smell like puke. I'm just being a realist here. It's hot as fuck. I mean, can I just be in the hotel room with like some booze, and I'm good.
All right, now that we have gone 100% off topic, let's
Sorry.
get back into the
It's all
terrible
good.
things that you would like me to talk about.
Yes,
So-
please. Let's talk about this asshole.
Yes. So on January 10th, 2004, Lindsay's body was found 6 weeks after she was murdered. And because it was found because residents in the apartments reported a strong smell coming from a storeroom underneath these apartments. So police discovered a decomposing body inside of a cricket bag, which is why this crime is called Body in a Sports Bag. Anyways, she was identified very quickly, and her cause of death was strangulation by 2 cable ties joined together. Police discovered that one of those bags, only one, had been purchased in the neighborhood in the past 6 months. So on November 22nd it was purchased on November 22nd, 2 days before the murder. So during questioning, William admitted that he had bought such a bag, but that it had just gone missing, like right before the murder.
I left it at the gym.
It just like disappeared. I don't know.
It conveniently walked away, like right before she was murdered. Like, I don't know when she was murdered, but I know the bag disappeared right before then.
Yeah, like a whole hour before. I just know.
Mm-hmm.
So when William heard about Lindsay's body being found, he allegedly told his father, "I think I did that." He later stated that he only felt responsible because he hadn't walked her all the way home. Then his mother told police that
Well,
William...
he hadn't. He murdered her in an alley.
Yeah. See, I didn't find that part. I found that he had murdered her in the storeroom.
Well, I saw an Australian true crime show that did a reenactment, and the way they had it was the storeroom was like down this little alley, and it was pushed off in the back.
Ah, okay.
So that's the way I see it in my mind.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
Okay.
His mother told police that William was a loner and that she was aware that he wasn't, quote unquote, normal. So William was naturally arrested, and his trial began in November 2004. During court, a poem that William had written was read aloud. William had given the poem and Lindsay's diary to a friend on the day that the body was discovered. So this is the poem. "Just the other day, I watched you pass away. You said I love you, but please let me stay. Help is not here for you or for me. Close your eyes when you go. I'll meet you there in eternity."
Creepy.
But I think it's almost beautiful. It's a poem.
It's beautifully creepy.
It's a good poem.
So, guys, in one of the reenactment shows that I watched on this case, they have a recording of him singing.
Oh, so it's a song, not a poem.
It's real bad.
The Grammy goes to.
It's like it sounds like he's like fake crying while he's singing it, and it's like very whiny, like just the other day I watched you pass away. You said I love you. It's terrible.
I love it.
Oh. Was that Britney Spears I just heard? Because, wow.
Oh, thanks.
So.
I did used to imitate her in the shower when I was like a preteen.
She was my first concert ever. I was 8 years old.
Mine was the Guess Who.
I saw her at the Molson Amphitheater.
I don't want to tell you guys what my first concert
Tell
was
us.
because I'm deeply ashamed of it because I didn't have any say in it.
Now you have to tell us.
Okay, I'll tell you. So I went to church with one of my friends.
Oh, no.
Well, she invited me, and I thought, usually this is like a free food situation, like a Pizza Wednesday type deal, and I'm like, I'm all for hanging out with a couple of friends with some pizza. I can ignore the Jesus-y stuff, and then I'll go home. Whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Who doesn't like free food? So that's that's like honestly half the reason why I ever went to church was for free food, in all honesty. Or when my parents made me go when I was
Love
super
it.
young. Yeah. So, yeah, where was I going with that? I'm sorry.
Well, who was the concert?
Oh God. Okay. So that night they tell us that they've got tickets for the whole youth group, and they had spares in case like extras came or whatever. So anyway, so they take us off to the Coliseum to see Michael W. Smith.
We have no idea who that is.
It is
Do you?
Christian soft rock adult contemporary singer.
Nice. And now you're into death metal. I love it.
Well, to be fair, I was never into this music. I was so sad to be there.
I would be too.
So sad.
My daughter's super into like the kids' Bible music. She loves it. Like all the time we sing, "You got the joy, 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 joy down in my heart. Down in my heart. Down in my heart." Yeah. See, you got it. But she sings
I grew up in Mississippi and America, so I know the Jesus songs.
Oh yeah. Well, she's going to a Jesus school, so.
All right.
I
went to college to a Jesus school.
Oh. Do you have Jesus in your heart?
No.
Has Jesus been inside you?
No. And I've never been baptized, so he's never been inside me.
Excellent.
I saw our homeboy on a candle yesterday at Walmart.
Yeah, you sent me a picture.
Yeah, I did. I sent Kendrah a picture.
You know what, though? I did ironically used to have one of those shirts that says Jesus is my homeboy. Do you remember those shirts, guys?
I do.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, I totally had one. And I also had a Mary is my homegirl one.
Oh! Nice.
I need
So,
those.
anyways, you get off topic a lot, lady.
I'm so sorry. This is why our shows are long.
I know. That's okay. So, William was diagnosed as possibly being schizophrenic, but it was found that his potential mental illness had little to do with luring and strangling Lindsay. The prosecution argued that because he had bought the bag 2 days earlier, that the murder was premeditated. That William had lured Lindsay into the storeroom where they used to hang out when they were dating. He showed zero emotion during the trial. And on December 8th, 2005, William was found guilty. He was sentenced to a minimum 18 years with a maximum of 27 years. Apparently that's an Australian law. Whatever. He is eligible for parole next May, and his maximum sentence ends in May 2029. Now, there was a semi-recent update in this case. So back in 2016, Lindsay's bag was discovered at a construction site, and inside was her cell phone, a Discman, and other items.
I still have a Discman.
Around the bag, there were about 40 different pieces of bone. 12 were human, and the rest were likely animal. A coroner stated that the bones were likely from an anatomy teaching collection and could be from up to about 11 different bodies. No evidence, though, to identify who the bones belonged to were ever found. And William refused to talk about the bones when questioned about them. So now for the best part, trivia or fun facts. So the trivia I have today is William was 3 years older than Lindsay. There is a documentary on the crime called The Body in the Sports Bag. I did not watch it, but you already mentioned that. 9 years after the murder, William went to court and finding an error in the judge's ruling was actually able to cut his maximum sentence down by 2 years. The night of the murder, William played a concert at the entertainment center and acted quite normally, but people did notice some scratches on him. William's family has a history of schizophrenia. And then lastly, William's brother killed himself in 1991. That's it. Did I do your case justice?
Yeah. I say you covered it pretty well.
Excellent. That makes me happy.
I feel like you didn't talk enough about her fiance, her mail order American fiance. I've seen interviews with him, and he is a very pretty guy. That makes sense. And I don't mean that in the way you would say, like,
is it
Brad
like
Pitt is pretty? I mean,
is it like he's pretty?
No, it's like
He's a hairstylist. We know why.
yeah. Well,
Okay.
I'm not saying he's gay or anything like that at all. I'm just saying he's very effeminate with the way he talks and stuff.
Alrighty.
But he's got, I don't know, like very soft features. Like he's a pretty guy. Does that make sense?
Oh. Well, I hope that your hubby there is sitting next to you, really enjoying you talk about somebody being pretty.
Oh, what you don't know is we have whole conversations where we're watching horror movies, and he'll be on the computer, and I'll be like, "Hey, there's tits," and then he'll excitedly turn around, and then we'll both look at them.
we've
got a chill relationship. Like
I get it.
We
I get it.
there's no jealousy.
we randomly get spam accounts messaging our Instagram, and they send pictures of random boobs, and every time that they do, I go up to Ron and I'm like, "Look, titties." And then he just looks at me and goes, "Titties."
Yeah,
See that
exactly.
too.
So anyways, what do you have, Miss Olivia?
All right, so I actually picked my case because you had mentioned it a while back.
Mm-hmm.
And I said I would do it one day for you, and I figured why not do it during the episode that we have you as a guest.
Excellent.
Also, like Kendra's case, if you have any information, please blurt it out, because like hers, this was also somewhat very difficult to find information on. There wasn't a whole lot, so I hope I do it good. I am going to be doing the Sheepsquatch / the White Thing. So the Sheepsquatch is located around West Virginia, but mostly seen in the Boone, Kanawha, Putnam, and Mason counties. Described to have white wool-like hair, and it's a biped, or sometimes seen as a quadruped. It can either be on 2 feet or on all fours, basically.
Okie dokie.
It has a large bear-like figure, and is 6 to 9 feet in height. Its face is long, kind of like a dog shape with horns.
So kind of like a sheep?
Kind of like a ram.
A ram.
A ram,
yes.
or a goat. Meh. So it has saber-tooth-like fangs. With giant, long, raccoon-like hands.
What the fuck?
Yeah, it's a pretty, like, spliced cryptid. It has a hairless tail similar to a possum.
Okay.
And smells absolutely terrible. Some people say, like, sulfur.
It's a ghost.
So it just reeks of, like, stinky eggies all the time. Stinky eggies, yeah, sulfur.
It is like the way you put that.
It's said to have a scent gland similar to skunks, so I'm guessing when it gets startled, it like goes and sprays, some weird juices out.
Yummy.
And it hangs out in the same areas as the Mothman. I wonder if they're bros.
Yeah.
Like, hey, let's meet
Well,
down at
who
the
else
pub.
are they gonna hang out with?
It can hang out with the Snallygasters or the Flatwoods monster.
True, there's a lot of cryptids in like
Grafton
Virginia and West Virginia. A lot.
Appalachia, baby. It is where the cryptids live.
Yeah.
They probably just like all hang out and like play board games.
Probably.
So I got obsessed with the Sheepsquatch playing Fallout 76. Because Fallout 76 takes place in West Virginia, and they have all those cryptids that I just listed in the game, and you can fight them, and it's
nice.
Awesome. There's also
I did see that during my research. Yeah.
Yeah. I play that game every day. They are badass, and Sheepsquatches in particular are pretty hard, and they're not super common to run into either. So yeah, they're a big deal, and you can make like projectile throwing things out of their quills. So like a throwing axe kind of, but just with their like sharp, super big quills.
Oh, that's actually pretty cool.
Yeah, it's pretty dope. But yeah, so that's how I got obsessed with the Sheepsquatch, and now I really want to go like tour West Virginia and go to all the places that they're said to be found and stuff, and see the museums and shit.
I will gladly go because I want to go see the Mothman statue because his ass is out of this world.
Oh my, that's so true though. He's got a tight ass. I don't know why they gave the Mothman such a tight, firm bum.
Just squats every day.
Yeah, he has leg day, honestly.
So the Sheepsquatch is mostly known as a folklore in the area, but some people say it was born from an explosion in Point Pleasant in a TNT area. Legend has it also that there was a car filled with women driving down the snowy road through Point Pleasant TNT area. And as they were driving, the beast appeared from the woods. They said it was about 8 to 9 feet in height with shaggy white hair and manly looking legs with the head of a sheep or a ram with the horns.
Okay.
So it's pretty similar to the description that I read out earlier.
We should just start going on girls' night drives and claim we see things.
Okay. They froze in fear, and they're on a snowy road, and they froze in fear. Sorry.
So, so I don't think it's actually anything. I think it was just my mind playing tricks on me because I had been on a long boring drive through the Mississippi Delta. But I saw something on the side of the road that my mind told me looked like the rake creature.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Those things are creepy.
Right?
I told Olivia to cover those.
Yeah.
They're very interesting. They're one of my favorite creepypastas is about the rake.
Yeah, they are pretty creepy. I watched some of the YouTube videos on them, like top 10 scary rake videos.
Are you saying rake like with a K or wraith like with a TH?
RAKE.
Yeah, rake.
Oh, okay. See, I told her to cover wraiths, which is like WR.
Those, different things.
Yeah,
okay.
No, I know what wraiths are though, because they're like in every RPG ever.
Well, I told her to cover those because they were like one of my favorites on Supernatural.
I'll cover both.
That's how I get my knowledge of cryptid and things is Supernatural. I'm sorry.
It's okay. My much older sister, 13 years older to be precise, her and her husband, the summer that I lived with them, they were watching reruns on TNT of Supernatural like every morning, 2 or 3 episodes in a row.
Mm-hmm.
And I would go in there and eat breakfast with them and ended up watching like the entire show except for the last 2 seasons, I think. So I know a fair amount, whether I wanted to or not.
Ron and I
I think I've seen like 8 seasons.
Ron and I just finished the last season that just came out. It was finally released on like whatever Prime, I think.
There's their series finale then?
Yeah, I finally just finished it, and I did not like the way it ended.
I do know.
Never liked the ending.
I disliked it.
Endings are never good.
There was an episode right before the last episode, and that's where it should have ended. And then they did another episode, and I was like, why?
Like, this is where they are now. This is where they're going. Those episodes,
It's
anyways,
like the ending of Harry Potter. Like, I didn't need to see them with kids and shit. Whatever.
Don't even get me started. So the women in the car froze in fear, and the Sheepsquatch darted back into the woods, scared. The Sheepsquatch froze in fear, and it darted back into the woods to hide.
Fair.
In the TNT area, there has also been reports of Bigfoot, big feet, and UFO sightings. Is that Big feet?
Bigfoots?
Bigfoot? Big feet? I don't know.
Bigfoots. We're gonna go with that.
Sam Squatches, because we're Canadian.
They're not Yetis up there.
No, they're called Sasquatches. Not. I just call it Sam Squatch because it's funny.
Yeah, in Canada they're Sasquatches.
Sasquatches, all right.
Yetis are like further
No,
up in like
Yetis
snow.
are in like
like in Tibet or something like that.
like
way up there?
Malaysia.
Yeah, like that
shit,
area. Like
Yetis are
where
snow.
like Everest is and shit.
Yes, snowy ones. Not all of Canada is snow.
No, we don't live in
Not
igloos. It
mountainous
doesn't always
enough, I
snow.
guess.
I left my polar bear at home today.
Yes.
Oh my god. Guys, I'm obsessed with Svalbard, which is the northernmost city in the world.
That's alert, isn't it?
Well, the northernmost area in the world where people live. Svalbard is like the island, I guess, and it's part of Norway, and you can see polar bears there.
Mhm.
Like, there's more polar bears than people there.
Oh.
I know that they're in Canada. The northernmost town that you could possibly has people there is an army base, and it's called Alert. It's not an actual town. Like, you can't live there. As, a person.
No, you can only get there and back when the ice freezes over and you have to drive across it. Yeah, or fly.
Yeah, in a helicopter or plane or whatever. But it's
Mhm.
Alert.
Okay.
Yeah.
Look up Alert Canada.
Gonna come up with a bunch of weird shit.
Yeah.
Alert Canada. So in 1929, a coal miner named Frank Kossel, one day after work, he was heading home, which, like, he has to walk, and I mean, it's 1929, and it was about a 6.5-mile walk. He decided one day to take a shortcut through the woods on his way home. He encountered a beast that looked like a large dog with white hair and a bushy tail. The beast jumped on him, and he tried to hit it with his lunch pail, but he did not succeed.
Ow!
Can you imagine if it's just a giant wolf?
I waited for that to set your dog off.
One of the first sightings more recently was in 1994. A former Navy man said that he saw a beast run out of the woods one day. It ran up to the creek just outside of the forest line, for a little drink. It's thirsty bitch. The Navy man stood there watching as while the creature's just chilling out in the creek. He started searching the area a bit. And the Sheepsquatch suddenly ran across the road into the woods again. And over the next year, there were 2 more witnesses that had come forth in Boone County, my bad.
Boner.
2 children had seen the beast playing in their backyard. The children said it looked like a giant white bear that stood over 6 feet tall, and it was scared by them and ran off into the woods, breaking a fairly decent-sized branches on the trees on its way in.
Can I cut in here?
Yes.
So far, it sounds like this Sheepsquatch is kind of a bitch.
Yes, it does sound like it's a bitch, or a little bitch.
She's a biatch. You ain't so scared.
In 1995, a couple driving around Boone County saw the beast. It was just chilling in a ditch alongside the road. And like any curious motherfucker would do, they pulled over to try and take a better look at it to see, hey, what's in the ditch over there? They said it looked like a giant white bear with 4 eyes. The only account I got where it said it had 4 eyes. Everyone else said 2. The beast got scared and leapt from the ditch and started attacking their vehicle. They were so scared they drove off screaming, and once they arrived home, they noticed giant scratch marks all over their car.
It was just the polar bears from Lost.
The polar bears migrated pretty south. In 1999, some campers in Boone County encountered the beast while camping in the woods, while telling scary stories and roasting spider dogs like any good camper would do, and I guess some marshmallows.
Of course.
I'm so excited for spider dogs when I go camping.
Isn't that so typical? Telling ghost stories and then the man with the hook shows up.
Right? It's very scary movie, like horror movie. Right?
What the fuck was that? Anastasia?
I'm so sorry. I coughed.
I was just saying, I think she
Get the
coughed.
shit out of me.
I didn't mean to cough directly into the microphone. It happened.
That's okay.
You have now made a new Sheepsquatch sound for me.
Yeah.
Thank
Oh, you're welcome.
They heard snorting and grunting coming from in the woods. They thought it was a pissed off bear, so they decided, they gotta keep quiet and still. Nothing was happening when suddenly the Sheepsquatch comes barreling out of the darkness, screeching. That's probably what it was fucking doing. The campers quickly booked it to their house, which was just outside the forest line.
Of course.
The Sheepsquatch, coming in hot, started screeching in anger even more. And they passed the forest. As they passed the forest line threshold to their house, it just stood there and didn't follow them out of the forest.
That was such a decline in your super intense story. I was on the edge of my seat. Like,
I know.
Yeah, keep
Well,
going,
they
keep
headed
going.
out the next day to their campsite, and it was completely destroyed and torn. Like their tents were torn up and everything. Yeah, I know. I made that go really intense, and I just boom.
I was like ready, like yeah.
She said-
People are getting eaten, and then she's like, and then it stopped, and I was like, aww.
Stop.
Nobody got eaten.
No, it's just yelling out the tree line, screeching.
I'm sad now.
I wonder if it screeches like an owl.
It sounds more deep and unearthly. And
You don't know.
6 anyway.
Okay.
You didn't let me finish. That was mid-sentence, Kendra.
That's how we do things at Blood, Guts, and Booze. I interrupt mid-sentence to be an asshole.
Real quick. So, Alert Canada is the northernmost continuously inhabited place in the world.
Ha!
Hold on. Longyearbyen is the world's northernmost settlement with a population greater than 1,000. There's
So
only
we were
62 people in Alert.
So we were both kind of right.
Exactly.
Fine.
We were
10
both
points.
kinda right.
10 points for Gryffindor for both of
Yes.
you.
I'm like a hybrid of Slytherin and Ravenclaw.
I am a Hufflepuff with Ravenclaw traits.
I'm totally a Slytherin.
1,000%. You don't need to take the quiz. I already know that.
My brethren.
She would be Slytherin with Ravenclaw traits. I can already see it.
But
That's
I
what
also,
I am.
Yeah.
But I also have the Sword of Gryffindor, so
She does have the Sword of Gryffindor, and I almost shit myself.
I mean, just
I was so
saying.
excited.
That's because Ron loves me and buys me pretty things, pretty shiny things.
So in 2015, this time in Folks Run, Virginia, the beast was seen around midnight by some campers. They said it looked to be around 8 to 9 feet in height, with a 4 to 5 foot shoulder width. One of the campers saw the beast on top nearby a hill, or on a nearby hill, crouched like it was watching and waiting, kind of like a predatorial dog or mountain lion.
Fucking
More like a
watching
mountain
you.
lion. Once it stood up, Buddy told the other campers, "Hey, something's up there." And suddenly it started running down the hill towards them.
It's because they fucking pointed it out.
They acknowledged it, and it
Don't
was
do
like,
that.
time to fuck shit up now.
Horror movie 101.
But they thought they were safe on the other side of the river, because the hill was on the other side of the river.
Naturally scary things can never swim.
Right?
Duh.
Well, as the Sheepsquatch got to the river, they were watching in horror as it tried to figure out a way to cross the river. With no luck, it decided, fuck it, I'm going to walk through the river towards them. So when it finally emerged from the water, it looked like a wet dog, as they described it. They heard another loud screech from a different direction, roughly about 2 miles away, they said. The Sheepsquatch looked up, and they could see its face in the moonlight. Oh, romantic. And then it ran in the opposite direction from the sound, and the campers were basically shitting themselves, packed their shit up and left.
So was Hermione just like howling out?
It literally sounds like the scene from Prisoner of Azkaban.
Yeah, where Hermione's like howling for the werewolf. Ow! What are you doing? Oh shit.
So I have a little bit of pop culture that I found with the Sheepsquatch. It was featured in and searched for in Destination America series Monsters and Mysteries in America.
Okay.
And like you had mentioned earlier, the Sheepsquatch is listed as a cryptid in Fallout 76. It attacks players with acidic pee and has giant claws.
I was peed on one and killed one today.
Oh.
Earlier today, wiped one out. It was in my camp.
Bastard
That's great.
peed on you. So now we know that what its kink is.
Yeah, it's Kate.
Yeah, it's piss play, as it turns out.
Golden showers. There are a few books wrote about the Sheepsquatch / White Thing, like Kurt McCoy's White Thing, the West Virginia's Weird White Monsters, and Neil Arnold's Sheepsquatch! ! And
Sheepsquatch!
that's my case.
Hey.
Yeah, it was pretty hard, other than finding like eyewitness accounts, which there really wasn't a whole lot. It was pretty hard finding really anything on the Sheepsquatch.
I'm glad I gave you guys a challenge.
Yeah, it mostly just
Yes.
kept coming up with Fallout 76. So
Look, that's how I
like,
came to
stop.
it too.
You definitely gave us both a challenge, and I appreciate that.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah.
You're welcome.
And it's actually funny that the Sheepsquatch has acidic pee in the game, because I didn't mention this. I did read somewhere, I can't remember which one of my links that I have down it was in, but it did say that somebody had a witness account of having acidic peed on by a Sheepsquatch.
I would not admit that. So I was in the woods with my buddies, and then all of a sudden this
The
thing just
Sheepsquatch
peed
pissed
on me.
us.
Nope.
And we thought it was raining until we noticed it smelled
That's-
like shit.
those are
and our
secrets
skin
we
was
keep.
burning.
Ew.
Those are the kind of things you go to your grave with.
Yeah.
I'd probably tell somebody. I'd be like, you won't believe what the fuck happened to me.
So anyways, that is, I think, pretty much it for our show today.
Yeah.
We once again would like to very, very big appreciate the fact that Anastasia decided to honor us with her presence tonight, or today.
Why, thank you for having me.
And once again, for all of our listeners, if you want to hear more of Anastasia and her best gal Morgan, then check out HorrorVSReality on any of your main streaming services.
Yes. Wherever you get your podcasts.
Yes. Yes.
Yep. And they're pretty good, and they're really funny. Like I thought, I laugh every time. And I did want to say, there was something I was gonna say. In your one episode, it was about I can't remember what it was now. Oh, it was Paranormal Activity. You guys were talking about Paranormal Activity and saying that the witch stuff happened in the second movie. It's actually the third.
Oh, snap.
Oh,
She got an error.
The third one?
It is. As soon as I listened, I was like, it's the third one. And then all of a sudden you're like, it's the second. I was like, no.
Oh, I mean, I've only seen the first and second movies, I think.
They are actually really good.
Or maybe I've seen the first,
series.
second, and third, but like I've only
think there's
seen
4.
each of them once. And there's 5 actually.
Ah.
Fourth
Yeah,
one
I
is
don't-
kind of shit.
That's what I hear. I've only seen the first 3, and I've only seen each of those once. But I campaigned for the first one to get to our local theater, and I saw it in theater.
Nice.
The first one's actually not bad.
I
Like,
think the first one's the best one.
yeah, like it definitely is. I like, because, they play it off as it's a true story, and I really like those kinds of horror films because it makes it more realistic, right? Like really realistic. But I thought it was done pretty good. I know it's like, I like horror movies, but I also like cheesy ones too.
Cheesy horror. I love it.
But yeah, I thought it was really good. Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyways.
I enjoyed it too. Yeah, you can hear me talk about horror movies on my stream on HorrorVSReality anytime.
Yeah.
Yes. Anyways, we are going to bid you good night, and that is it this week. We hope that you keep listening until next week. Bye.
Bye. Special thanks to Dylan Sears for the theme song and Sally Gunter for the cover art. Support us on Patreon and like, share, rate, and subscribe to us on all of our social media pages and your podcast streaming service. Do you have any personal stories or suggestions for the show? Email us at bloodgutsandbooze@gmail.com.